Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video on E.Stampley art. In today's video, we're going to be making notepads. I did a little bit of research about how to possibly make your own notepads online first, and just ended up basically doing a really down and dirty way of doing it, using materials that I pretty much already had at home, just had to gather them together and obviously create my design. So in this video, I'm just going to basically show you how I made this little notepad, although with a little bit bigger pad size and different design, but the principles are exactly the same as how I made this little guy right here. So after this video, hopefully if you want to, you can make your own notepads at home. But with all that being said, why don't we get started? Shall we? To get started, of course, you will need to create your notepad design. You can do that obviously on the computer, in some kind of digital art program, or you can always, create one traditionally on paper and then scan it in to be able to duplicate it. Regardless, you're going to have some kind of computer and printer access to be able to, really create your notepad, to be able to duplicate your design. I just used Adobe Illustrator to create my design. I basically wanted to do something about balance. The past couple of years, we've been trying to find that wonderful balance between work life and home life. And so I just wanted to create a notepad that you can write on to reflect that, about finding the balance in your own life. So then of course I took my design and then duplicated it on the biggest sheet that I could print out, which was a 17 by 11 or tabloid size. Mostly if you're at home, usually it would be 8.5 by 11, and you just duplicate as many as you can on that sheet so you can cut out as many as you need to be able to stack your notepad. So if you want your notepad to have 20 sheets, then you need 20 duplications of your design. 30, 40, 50, same amount. You'll need that particular amount to be able to create your notepad. Okay, so then I had all my sheets printed. So I have all of my duplications. Since I printed on a bigger sheet, I was able to get 6 on one sheet. If it was 8.5 by 11, because I made it a 4 by 6 notepad, I would have only been able to get 3 on a sheet, but that's fine. You just would have had to print off more sheets, but since I got to do a bigger sheet, I could do more duplications at once. So obviously we have to start and have our duplications here that we're going to cut out. And then we'll need some cardstock to put on the back, just like on this one, to give it, some stability and something to hold on to. And then some alligator clips that will help when you are doing in the gluing process, which of course you will need some glue. Just regular kind of like school glue works pretty well. Okay, so the first things, after of course we have all our duplications, we have to actually cut these out. So we have individual sheets, and there are different ways obviously that you can do that. You can do it where you just cut them out individually with a pair of scissors, or you can use a ruler and an X-acto blade with a mat and cut them out. Obviously, if you are a young person, please adult supervision with any of these sharp objects, so you do not hurt yourself. I'm going to use an old school paper cutter, that way I can cut out multiple sheets kind of at the same time. I also like to, when I'm doing my duplication, create some kind of guide along the design so you can see where you need to cut, just so you have some kind of, guides to go off of when you are cutting. So like I said, I'm using an old school paper cutter for this. So I am lining up my edges. I'm cutting this in half so I can get a better trim. I'm cutting 3 sheets at once. Just because, it can take a little bit. I mean, I could do one at a time, or I could do like, I think I could do up to about 5 sheets on here, but then it sometimes wants to get a little wonky at the end. So safe than sorry, just so I don't have to print out some more sheets. So I'm just doing 3 at a time. So I do my best to line up my 3 sheets together and keep them together aligned while I am cutting them out. So let's get that done, shall we? Here we go. This, you can see the first set of sheets for the notepad. This is basically the final size that it will be, a 4x6 little notepad to write on. Got about 9 sheets here. I'm trying to make a 50 sheet pad in total. So I have a few more sheets to cut out, and let's do that, and then we'll come back to start actually putting the pad together, okay? All right, so I have cut out all of my sheets for my notepad. It is a 50-page notepad, so I have all my sheets ready to go. And next step will be, obviously, we need to cut out our cardboard backing. I've already marked this to cut out a 4x6 piece, so let's do that. So I have my backing for my notepad. I'm going to put it on the back, obviously, so you can see it's kind of already coming together. All right, now that we have our sheets and our backing card, now it's time to bring in our glue and our clips. It's also a good idea to have like a piece of cardstock or something to put in between the clips and where you're going to clip it onto the notepad. That way it doesn't make an indentation onto the pad itself. So the ideal thing is to get this as even as possible at the bottom, or top actually, sorry, at the top of where the top of your sheets for the pad are and your cardstock, because that is where you are going to put the glue, and you want all of your sheets to be affected by the glue and attached together. So that is why you do as much as you need to get everything pretty aligned, at least at the top. This is where you put like that piece of cardstock so it doesn't mess up your pages on your pad. So this holds this is going to hold your pad together while you are gluing the top. And as you can see, the top is pretty even. So the next step is to add your glue along your top edge. And you can do that a couple different ways. You can squirt out some glue on a sheet and spread it on, or you can just add a bead to the top. And you can spread it with your fingers, but if you don't want your fingers to get messy, just get out a paintbrush. Not one of your good paintbrushes, just, you know, just a regular craft brush. And make sure you get all of the edge. Make sure you get your card backing in there, your pages, everything along that top. Because this is what adheres your paper in together and your backing together as well. basically, once you've done that, so you can see that coating of the glue on it, then you're going to take your alligator clip, still use a piece of cardstock, but put it away from the glue. You don't want it, and then put that on there so that will hold that together. And then obviously if you're making a say you're making a larger notepad, or you're making one that's more, say, horizontal as opposed to vertical, I would recommend maybe using 2 or 3 clips to hold it along the top. Not just one. We're going to come back to it and add basically another layer of glue, and we're going to do that about at least 4 times. I think with this notepad I did it probably about 6, just to make sure it was really adhered on there. So with this one, since it is a little thicker of a notepad, I still might do about 6, but I think at least 4 to make sure you get everything kind of covered and adhered. So we're going to let this sit and dry, and I'll come back and add another coat. All right, everybody, this is the moment of truth. Taking the clips and everything off. On the top here, I put probably about, I would say about 8 coats on the top here, just because I wanted to, really make sure that I got all the pages and the backing covered. None of the pages are falling out. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. And obviously, you can write on your notepad. Awesome. Smiley face. Beep, beep. And then let's see. Perfect. You can tear off a sheet and the whole thing doesn't fall apart. And there we are. You too can create your own custom notepad at home. It was really fun. This is the second one I've ever made, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a nice thumbs up down below. And if you want to know about new videos when they are coming out on the channel, feel free to hit the notification bell or the red subscribe button somewhere down there. And if you want to know about more of my artistic journey, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at E.Stampley Art. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.